for watching Numbskull News, and there has been a bit of a disturbance in the force, if you will. Uh, People are talking Miami to the Big 12. Now, people have been suggesting Miami for a while, but it seemed to have picked up a little steam, maybe. There's more talk out there in the wilderness of YouTube about it. So I wanted to make a video and address that. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. Let me just preface everything else I'm saying by just right up front for you Miami fans. I don't think Miami's coming to the Big 12. I think they have an option. From what I believe, it'll work out. What I believe is that they'll end up in the Big 10 because FSU and Clemson will go to the SEC. And I know everyone's talking Florida State to the Big 10. That's another time or place. That's just what I think. I've made videos about it. I'm sure I'll talk about it in future live streams and future videos as far as FSU going to the SEC, remaining with ESPN. But I'm not going to cover all that here. We're here to talk about Miami. So let's play the what if game, though. Because there is a chance, as Lloyd Christmas once said, so you're telling me there's a chance. There is a chance. Because, of course, I could be wrong about a lot of crap. So, here's the what ifs. If Florida State goes to the Big Ten, and then Clemson goes to the SEC, what about Miami? I could be wrong about this, but I don't think the Big Ten is going to take Florida State and Miami. A lot of people seem to think that. And they could be right. It just doesn't feel right to me. I don't know. I don't think the Big Ten nor the SEC are going to expand much further. I think they're damn near tapped out. They see two huge programs in Florida State and Clemson, and they want them. I think the Big Ten really wants in the state of Florida. And really, it has nothing to do with carriage fees and cable, a Big Ten network subscriptions or any of that shit. They want a big brand and a big footprint in the state of Florida for recruiting. Market still does have some value. So yeah, if the Big Ten gets their grubby little mitts on Florida State, because I don't think they want to go north of 20. So they'll hold a spot for Notre Dame. And Notre Dame isn't coming anytime soon. Will the Big Ten just wait them out? Maybe. Because, there's not too many other brands. What other brand out there is on the same level as Florida State or Notre Dame? Wait, there isn't one. A lot of people keep throwing out UNC. They are not the brand of Florida State. They are certainly not the brand of Notre Dame. Nowhere close. In what football universe are they that big? Well, it's not all about football. Realignment is. Realignment is. For the Big Ten, for the SEC, it's all about football. All about viewership. It's all about premium matchups. It's all it's about for those two. Big 12, it's also about basketball. Just a little bit more about basketball. But, does the SEC take Miami so they could be at 18 teams? Well, people who are, I guess, insiders in the SEC, or at least have a lot of inside baseball knowledge of that conference, seem to think that they don't care if they're at an even or odd number, which means if they just add Clemson, they're good. They're good. They ain't worried about it. They ain't worried about 19 or 20 or going to 17 and staying there. They don't care. They don't care. So, and something about the SEC in Miami doesn't make sense. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know. Maybe it's just not a big enough brand. Even though Miami's a very big brand, legendary status, albeit a small private school. Just a, oh, there's a private school. Well, so's USC, so's Notre Dame. Kiss my ass with the private school stuff. Oh, their stadium's not on campus. Well, who gives a big flaming rocket's crotch if they're not directly on campus? They're working on it. It's not a big deal. Tell me how many schools, have the history of Miami. Not many. Not many. Are they a blue blood? I think at one time they were. Maybe there's still some blue blood status left in them. Maybe. But I will admit, it's kind of borderline. If Florida State goes to the Big Ten, then there's a shot for Miami. A shot, albeit maybe a small one, but still a shot for Miami to get into the Big 12. However, if it goes like I say it goes, Florida State, Clemson to the SEC, I think the Big Ten would still, as I said before, still love to get into Florida. And I think they'll take Miami. I think they like what Miami has to offer if they can't get FSU. But of course, I could be wrong about the SEC as well. There's no factual information. I haven't read anything that says the SEC or ESPN wants nothing to do with Miami. Haven't read any of that. All right, I'm just assuming. I'm going off of a gut feeling here. And I got a prominent gut. They do offer premium matchups both in the Big Ten and the SEC. And like I said, when they're good, the ratings are through the roof. When they're bad, they come down quite a ways. Not all the way to the bottom. All right, they're still way up in the top 50. Miami would still offer value to the SEC. I don't know. It seems to me, at least, I don't know. The tea leaves, the gut feelings, all kind of go towards the SEC and ESPN really want FSU and they really want Clemson. And I don't think they're thinking about Miami much. If it's the Big Ten, I think Miami's the backup plan if they don't get FSU. So where does that leave the Big 12 with Miami? If the circumstances and everything goes into plan, and if I'm right about the Big Ten not wanting really anything more than Florida State, and they get them, then you may have a shot. If there's really no value there for the SEC with Miami, and if the SEC just doesn't see it, doesn't want it, if ESPN doesn't want it, then, you know what I'm saying? Then the Big 12 have their shot. Now, would you want Miami in the Big 12? Most people say that's a no-brainer. I'm a little hesitant. I will say that I'm a little hesitant if that does happen, just because they are a huge brand. And kind of borderline blue blood kind of deal. Now, do I think there'll be a huge pecker? Like if USC came to the Big 12, probably would be. Or Florida State. There's been that kind of crazy talk. Florida State to the Big 12. Stop. Clemson to the Big 12. Stop. It's not happening. But I think Miami, I'm a little hesitant. I guess that's just my own, seeing the crap that went down with Texas and Oklahoma. I have my own thing where I don't have really anything personal against a lot of these big blue blood programs. Or even if you're not a blue blood, but just a big program, Oregon or Washington. But I am hesitant on a team like Miami. And I have no reason to be. I don't know anything about the people who run that university. If they're big snobs or they're selfish pricks, or they won't play nice in the Big 12. They won't be one of us. I think that's one of my big uh, that's one of my big problems there. I've heard before, Arizona State and Utah, they're just going to bide their time till they get to the Big Ten. It doesn't bother me because sooner or later they're going to read the writing on the wall, which is the Big Ten is not getting Arizona State. They don't want to be in Utah. They don't care about Utah. Big 12 does. Big 12 fans do. We enjoy being in that state. The Big Ten can give two legitimate shits about ever getting Utah or about ever getting Arizona State. Those brands aren't nowhere close. I don't care how many students you have. I don't care how good and shiny that AAU card is. It don't matter. They're not ever picking them up. Sooner or later, that will dawn on those two programs. And by the way, the fan bases have already been cool. It's not about the fan bases. It's just about the people within the universities. That's the speculation on those two, that they still want to get to the Big Ten. Well, there's a long line of people who would love to be in the Big Ten. Okay? Now, Miami, on the other hand, coming to the Big 12, will they take it seriously? Or is this just a stepping stone to get to the next spot? That's my biggest problem. All right, it really is. And that would be with the fans. That would be with the higher ups, the whole deal. Like, Miami should be in the Big Ten. It should be in. That's what you would hear, nonstop. And I don't want a member of the Big 12 thinking that they had to settle and this is dog shit and we want out. Because there's a lot of people around Arizona State that are excited for their first year of the Big 12. And Utah has been picking up steam that way. There's a lot of people excited. And Ute fans, people within the university are excited to be in the Big 12. And sure, if they ever got the call for the Big Ten, they would go. So would Kansas. So would TCU. So would anybody in the Big 12. But, Miami legitimately could get that call one day if they came to the Big 12. That's one of my concerns. And it'd be one of my concerns that the people within the university would absolutely feel that way. Oh, we'll eventually get that call. And so they won't take Brett Yormark seriously. They won't take anything that the Big 12, any initiatives that we try to set forth, they won't take any of that seriously. So that gives me pause. So what I'm hoping happens is the Big 10 gets them, and I don't have to worry about it. Now, on paper, Miami coming to the Big 12 looks awesome, looks great. It's good on a spreadsheet. But in application, it worries me. It worries me that type of brand coming in thinking that they're worthy of so much more instead of looking at opportunity that's right here in this conference. And you could say, well, West Virginia has just been wanting easier geographic travel. The people of West Virginia, the fans of West Virginia, the higher ups of West Virginia, they needed a lifeline. The ACC kicked them in the nuts, told them they weren't worthy, but the Big 12, with Texas, with Oklahoma, said you are worthy. Come on in. And that is appreciated, even with bitch-ass travel they got to deal with. But West Virginia fans have been outstanding and great for the Big 12. And I'm sure there would be some Miami fans that would be awesome too. Not saying everybody, but there would be plenty. Like, oh my God, we got to go there. Blah. And my response would be, go the American. Kiss my ass. It's not my fault the Big Ten didn't want you or the SEC didn't want you. It's not my fault you got left out. As a matter of fact, all the other freaking programs and schools in the Big 12 also got left out. So why don't you just join us and make us all better? That'd be my thing. So see, I'm already getting worked up just thinking about it. Just thinking about what Miami could be, what a pain in the ass they can be within the confines of the Big 12. And I hope that wouldn't be the case. And there's a chance that it would be awesome and it would fit great and everyone's value goes up and everything's, hunky dory and whatever. But there's always the voice in the back of my head. Because, like, if Duke came to the Big 12, which I think will happen, would there be some fans, oh, we had to come to this shithole conference? Of course. Of course. But the higher ups know better. The higher ups know they would be lucky to be here. When the ACC goes away, when it gets devalued, when it goes in the freaking toilet, they'll be glad to be on the edge of the sink dealing with clean water. All right, I don't care about some shitbag fans that think they deserve everything. Don't care about that. I don't worry about that with Louisville. I don't worry about it with Pitt or NC State or Virginia Tech. I don't worry about it with any of those fan bases or higher ups within those universities. Even though we got a little bit of it from Arizona State, maybe a little bit of it from Utah, especially the coach, Mr. Willingham, who at times can't shut the hell up. And he needs to appreciate where he's at too, by the way. But I get all that. But Miami's a different deal. Because Utah is not the brand of Miami. This is where the coach gets it wrong. Utah hasn't won national titles. Utah doesn't have 30 for 30s on ESPN that are the highest rated 30s for 30s. All right. It is not a huge national brand. Trust me when I say this. People in New York, people in Boston, hell, people in Maryland don't give two shits about Utah. But they do care immensely about Miami. I'm just saying. There's Hurricane fans, the U fans everywhere. Can't get away from Washington, Idaho. They're everywhere, under every rock. That's what winning does. That's what having legendary players play for you. The Michael Irvins of the world. That's what that does. And it damn sure helps to have The Rock talk a lot of Miami football. All of that helps. Utah has none of that. Neither does Arizona State. Even though Utah's a great program. Arizona State could be looking up. They ain't Miami. So, I just, like I said, I in one respect, it would be cool if Miami came here. In another one, it would really, really worry me a lot. And I kind of hope the Big Ten just figure that out for me so I don't have to worry about it. Because, I don't know, I think I'd rather have Georgia Tech because I don't have to deal with bullshit that I have a feeling we would have to deal with Miami. Having said that, I don't believe they're coming here anyway. Even though I get worked up, I don't think that's happening. I think it's a bit of a pipe dream of a lot of Big 12 fans. And like, we need a brand. The brand's the Big 12. Okay? It's like the NFL. What's the brand in the NFL? The NFL. That's how we got to look at the Big 12. It's the overall brand. All right, all of the programs got to put in to build that brand, but that's what you got to build here. And besides, if you're a Miami fan and if, take exception to that, you throw it down in the comments. That's fine. I don't block people. I'm not going to erase your comment because I think you're just too big a shit. But I will give it back to you if you're going to give something to me. All right? If you're going to bring me attitude about it. I mean, maybe you want to tell me that, hey, we'd be cool and fine in the Big 12. We would just hope for more. That's fine. You can always hope for all that you want. As my mother used to say, you can hope in one hand and shit in the other, see which one gets filled up the quickest. So, but if y'all end up in the Big 12, just be cool. Be glad you're here. All right? Fight hard to win the conference. Do the Miami Hurricane thing. But just be cool. Don't be peckers in my conference. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, thanks for watching this, and I'll be back with some other crap later. Bye.